we can do it. So please welcome Reverend Cheryl.
I gotta be big and brave too. So joy shared multiplies our ability to face life's challenges. That's what I wrote in the little description of today's talk. Joy shared multiplies our ability to face life's challenges. So it sounds good, it sounds encouraging, and makes us feel good. And it makes me wonder how we could expand that truth here at Unity Spiritual Life Center so we could feel more joy when challenges come into our own individual lives, and even when challenges come into the life of our community right here. And then I realized that we have been practicing this in a lot of ways. Every week when we share our celebrations, our joys and celebrations, that's a way of coming back to the joy. Every time we work together and put on a positive event, isn't that a joyful thing? And every goal we have met and dream that we have manifested, all these are examples of ways that we can encourage one another and come back to joy. But still, what happens when we are not all on the same page and are not all feeling joyful about what's happening here at Unity? I know, I thought about, why am I talking about this on my last time? I guess it's because it's the last time I have a chance to. So when things are not all going super duper here, the codependent fixer in me wants to make it all better. Do you see why I'm tired? And then I read this heading for one of Reverend David Alt's daily guides in Science of Mind magazine. Never let a crisis go to waste. Never let a crisis go to waste. And he quotes a Zen proverb, "The obstacle is the path." Wow. The idea is that whatever we want to push away, what we perceive as in the way of us reaching our dreams or even our everyday goals, may not be a detour or an obstacle at all. It may be, quote, the sacred ground that is ripe for opportunity. So just remember back in January this year, when your minister search team had put together most of the wording for the vacancy packet that we would send out to attract a Unity minister. Way to go, search team, by the way. But then everything came to a halt because our income was in no way at a level to attract anybody. So we spent some time wringing our hands about not having enough money. And some of us even said, great, let's just not have a minister then. And I get that. It seemed we were not of one mind and heart on the whole matter. We were stuck. A big old boulder seemed to have appeared on our path forward. And then the board and some others kicked around an idea of challenging all of us to imagine our income skyrocketing upward to the amount needed monthly to support a full-time minister. And that's what there's a little chart back there. It's very, very cute, and it's about that skyrocketing. And every person who made a decision to increase their giving brought us closer to our goal. And in just a few months, we were at the top of our rocket chart. And we have maintained that amount for over half a year now. On Friday, the whole packet was sent in to Unity Worldwide Ministries. Woo! And so in the next week or two, we should see Unity Spiritual Life Center of Yakima on the list of centers seeking a minister on Unity Worldwide Ministries website. So a challenge met. The dream our clear intention for a new minister is now set loose in the field of all possibilities. And now I'm wondering if our next step is to let go of the doubts and our fears of what could happen. Will we get another difficult person like the last full-time minister?
No.
No, not going to happen. Will the funds continue to come in? Scary. Thank you. Will we be bored with whoever comes? Because that's one of the things I've heard. It's like we love having a variety of different speakers, and I don't think that has to necessarily go away. But you also, it's been a long time since you've had somebody come here and be with you every week that can extend ideas and build on them with you. So maybe some of you are still wondering if investing in a paid minister would even be worth it. So I want to ask you straight out, would you be willing to consider the possibility that it could bring new inspiration and growth to this community? When we come together with a shared intention, and that's, I guess, what I'm talking about, there's a division here among us. When we come together with a shared intention, Lynn McTaggart's intention experiments have shown that miracles happen. When we can trust that the universe is for us, that divine intelligence is working for the highest and best for all concerned. This or something better, Mary Morrissey would always remind us in her prosperity teachings. So the more that we join our energy in a shared intention for the future, the more the energy all around us will begin to align to meet our heart's desire. And what is it we desire for unity? A vibrant, safe community with expanding opportunities for spiritual growth and connection with others. And how will we expand if we stay right where we are? Oh. Dennis Merritt Jones says in an article entitled "Expanding Your Horizons," the first principle of a living universe is expansion. There is an impulse within each of us that is constantly pushing out, seeking to express and know more of itself through us. When we sense this divine nudge and we choose to give way to it, it lifts us to see new horizons, new possibilities we never before knew existed. He goes on to say, horizon can be defined as the limit of a person's mental perception, experience, or interest. And the operative word, he says, is limit. Our perceived horizon sets the limit on our view of life. So the question is, do we try to expand the horizon itself or our view of the horizon? This reminds me of a cartoon recently from the Gary Larson calendar that sits on our dining room table. He's pretty weird. But in this one, an artist is painting a portrait of a woman who looks quite normal sitting in a chair across from him. But he is painting her with a horrible big spider on her shoulder and neck. What is that all about? He must not like her at all. So I looked a little bit more closely, and I noticed that the painter had a spider on his glasses. What are we perceiving, or maybe even misperceiving, that is shaping how we are experiencing our lives? Are we open to seeing things differently? There's a book by David Emerald that we have used twice for our board retreats in the 4 years that I've been here. And it speaks to this very idea of seeing things differently. It's called The Power of TED. And TED stands for the Empowerment Dynamic. It's kind of a parable, a teaching story that is easy reading yet quite profound. And it might be a good choice down the road for one of your next book studies. The key idea of the book is that when there is anxiety in a human system, and I have to say there's some anxiety in our human system right here at Unity because we're moving out into a new place, right? So when there is some anxiety in a human system, we have a tendency to try to alleviate our discomfort by using what the author calls the dreaded drama triangle. DDT for short. Poison. So in this triangle, someone is always the victim. Someone else is always the persecutor. And the third point on the triangle is the rescuer. Now we can go round and around on this triangle. Sometimes the victim lashes out and becomes the persecutor. Or the rescuer feels put upon and unappreciated, and so they become the victim. Or the persecutor may feel like a victim too. Ay, 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 it goes around and around and around. Well, the empowerment dynamic changes how we look at each part of the picture. At the center of the change, the victim becomes a creator. Ted says, while the victim is powerless, a creator claims and taps into his or her personal power in order to choose a response rather than a reaction to life's circumstances. We have choices. We are more powerful than we sometimes realize. Not power over others, but the power to create our own lives and to co-create with one another. So in this empowerment dynamic, we have the creator, and the persecutor becomes the challenger. Now, a challenger may be compassionate or confrontational, or both. What the challenger does is call forth a creator's will to create, which often has the creator learning new skills, making difficult decisions, doing whatever is necessary to bring forth a dream or a desire. Whether the challenger is another person or a circumstance, it is a teacher, encouraging the creator's growth. Have you ever had a difficult person or circumstance in your life that later you realized helped you to grow? It didn't feel that great at the time, but you learned things about yourself and life that you might not have come to without this challenger pushing you out of your comfort zone. And finally, in the empowerment dynamic, the rescuer becomes a coach. Now, a coach in this scenario is more than simply an encourager and a teacher. A coach knows that he or she is also a creator and sees other people as creators too. Rescuers, in trying to fix things, often draw power away from the victim, reinforcing their powerlessness. You know, have you ever had like, oh, you poor thing? A coach, on the other hand, leaves the power with the creator, seeking only to help facilitate their personal growth and progress. Ted says, a coach helps others see new possibilities, helps them dare to dream. As I prepare to take my leave next Sunday as your minister of record, maybe today I've been a challenger to you. I hope I've also been a coach, encouraging growth in each one of us. And I have loved being a co-creator with you. as we've worked together to create a loving, resilient, welcoming spiritual community. I see the divine that you are. Namaste.